Ladies and gentlemen, we are working on a 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe GLS with a 3.5 liter motor. We were changing the power steering pump on this vehicle. I know there's not a lot of videos, period, about the power steering pump, but I was going to show you exactly how I did it and the easiest way to get it out. I seen one video where a guy used a crowbar to get it out, but it didn't work for us. Not even using the skinny one. So. As you can tell, I used all. I even at first I tried using smaller socket set. I tried using this, and some of the stuff just didn't work. But there's the tire. There's the serpentine belt. The other belt I'm going to replace for the power steering pump. The heat shield. I mean the splash shield and the tensioner pulley. You can't buy those. It was a motherfucker getting this thing off. And as you can tell, that's what a water pump actually goes. To get this thing out the easiest is that the bottom bolt usually goes right there, but the top one up there is a pain in the ass. So for me to be able to get the top bolt out without disconnecting the hose, but you got to disconnect that little other hose that has the green wire on it because it gets popped off by hand. So what I had to do is that when that top one is not a bolt, it's a nut onto a stud. So I had to, once I got it all off, it's one of those things where it took almost 24 hours. I had to wait until the morning time to try to take it off. So to get that top nut off, I used, I think it was a 3/8 I used. It had the extension that pulls out of it, and it wouldn't work. So I pushed it back in to make the ratchet small, which means you need a smaller one to get on there to turn it a little bit. Then I was able to take the ratchet off, use the extension with the 14mm socket, and twist it with both of my hands, just like if you're hugging the actual hub, like you're hugging the wheel hub at the same time while trying to get it off. I got it off. But you don't have to take the actual hose off that runs to the reservoir, because it's easier just to take it off by hand once you get it out, because as long as you disconnect it from the top. But I couldn't figure out. I was like, how in the hell am I going to get the damn? How am I supposed to get it out as far as once it's out? Because the pulley hits the damn frame, and I'm like, I've never seen nobody actually take the pulley out. So I'm wiggling it, and as you can tell, there's a stud right there that's pretty long. So come to find out, once I pull it out, here's it hits this. So for me to be able to get it out, I had to hammer the bottom part up a little bit, push it all the way up, and be able to wiggle it down, slant it a little bit, and it comes out. It won't come out straight. I had to hammer it past this notch. You push it down, it won't go past this notch. I had to push it all the way up, push the Dakota hammer, then it came out. I guess it's that you got that much clearance. Now there's a loophole here. If you need a ratchet, you can get it right there between where the pulley and the body is. I was able to get it out without using a crowbar from the top. Did it all from the bottom. So it's best to turn the wheel like it is right now. And doing it from this side is more of a pain in the ass because you don't have a lot of clearance to see the bolt as much. But with the wheel turn like this, you can actually see the bolt better from this side with an actual light. But I'll show you what the old one looks like. Here's the old water pump pulley. Right here. And the reason why this is cut, because I wanted to try to cut the son of a bitch off, because I was getting so pissed off yesterday, I didn't know what the hell to do. It's starting to leak. But that's the old one. The car only had 156,000 miles, and the water pump was sounding like a tractor. I was going... But when I replaced the rear transmission mount, a lot of sound went away. But when I checked our power steering fluid the other day, it had less than an ounce in there. But it used to hold, so I'm thinking that maybe the seal in the water pump, and maybe the seal in the power steering pump has gone bad and it was just constantly leaking. Because, as you can tell, the damn thing was leaking all over the frame, all over the control arm. We see how it's all wet. At first, I was thinking like, well, maybe it's the hose. I don't think it's the hose, and the high pressure lines seemed to be fine, and the seal looked like it was in great shape. But here's the hose that runs to the actual pump, to the top part of it, and it seemed to look like it's okay. The hose looks like it's brand new. Don't look like it's that old, like it's been replaced recently. But I could be wrong. But here's the new one. It may look like it's the wrong one, but it's not. The difference is that the 2.4s seem to be a little smaller than the 3.5s. And as you know, you got your little nozzle. This is just the cover. You got your hose that goes up here, the hose that goes on the side, and you got this little nipple piece here that's that little green wire type that attaches to that, goes on. And I don't think I broke that wire because there's nothing missing, so that's a good sign. And make sure you buy yourself a filter for it. Yeah, actually, this is my first time installing a pump on one of these cars. That's what the filter looks like for this car. It's from O'Reilly's. If you actually want the part number, well, it's a Master Pro for power steering. And this is the part number that works for this vehicle here. 991/FLT1 filter. And that's it right there. I got to figure out where it goes on this because the auto parts stores seem not to know. So I think it's just depends on the car. I don't ever buy the ones without the pulley. I buy it with it because I ain't got to worry about all the BS. Because you don't know if this is bad and this has already been damaged and this is bad anyway. So I didn't really give a hell. And these cars here, I mean, they're the worst cars to work on, man. These things are a pain in my ass. I mean, to be honest, but the reason how I identified that it was the power steering pump is that first I took the belt, serpentine belt off first with the other belt still connected. I cranked it, sound didn't go away. So I took the other belt off anyway, and I cranked it. The chatter and the loud chattering sound has gone, and the vehicle runs completely quiet. So that's how I knew it was the power steering pump. Plus, I put a half-inch drive on it in the past when the vehicle was running right with the power steering pump connected. And the power steering pump was just making the ratchet rattle really, really bad. And you could hear the same vibration and sound coming from that power steering right through that half-inch drive. So, now since we got it off, we're going to try to put the new one on here in a little bit. The thing is that these vehicles are a pain. It took us like 6-7 hours to try to figure out why it wasn't coming out. I think because we didn't eat, we were tired. My recommendation, before you work on a car, always be sure that you eat at least a full meal or two before you're working on it all day. Because if you don't, it can make you go crazy, make you not think right, and this vehicle has always pissed me off. I mean, the vehicle's been a good running vehicle. It's been solid for the past year. The only problems I really had with my wife's vehicle is that it had cooling leaks. I had cooling leaks. I replaced the mount, the knock sensor, which was a pain in the ass on this car. I mean, spark plugs, coil packs, brakes. But nothing else has really been done to this car. I mean, we bought it from a person who took really good care of it, and they put a new timing belt on it and everything, but just so you know, this vehicle does not have a timing chain. It has a timing belt. At first, we thought it was probably cams going bad, like cam bearings, or we thought it might have been the belt tensioner inside the timing chain, but they said they replaced all that. But come to find out, I found out what it was. So hopefully after all this, it won't give us no more problems. Well, this video, I hope this helps. I mean, I know there's not a lot of videos on the power steering pumps for these cars. They're really hard to get a hold of. I know I find more about the 2.7s. I mean, the motors are designed the same, but the parts are a little different, and the hoses go different places. And I know the people that are out there would really appreciate to see these videos that people don't see. And since there's not a lot of issues with this car, I don't really post a lot of videos on it. If you want any more videos about the 04 Hyundais with the 3.5 liters, you can ask me. If you need some help with demonstrations or how-to-dos, I can show you where they are and locate them, but I'm not going to take the vehicle apart all the time just to show y'all everything, because it's my wife's vehicle. It's her personal. She's got my car today. So maybe if I have another vehicle that's junk one day and I have it sitting here, maybe I can demonstrate more to y'all. And there's my cat trying to help. Always be sure when you install your new pump, make sure your hose is connected, make sure your hoses are good, make sure that little green wire thing is on there. Make sure you put all your bolts back in, your belt and everything. Easiest way that you want to do this is when you put the power steering pump in there, be sure you put the new filter in there first. Be sure the long hose that I showed you is put on first before you install it, and put the green wire on last, because the green wire is short. You have to stick your hand in there and slide it on yourself. That's just how it's going to be. You know, that's the easiest route. Then start from the top bolt, get that top bolt in first, then get the bottom one, because then you know you don't have to worry about the top later. You know, fill it with fluid, flush it out. You know, you'll be good to go. And I'm going to pressure wash the crap out of this vehicle today too. Hope this video helps, and I hope y'all have a great week.